Good evening, everyone. We're back. We didn't have a card last month, and that's why we were absent. So anybody who tunes into our show every month who was wondering where we were, that was the problem. And if you're tuning in for the first time, our episode tonight is called Inspire Them. But I want to begin the episode with a memoriam, some personal and others are celebrities. So here they are. Personally, we want to remember Madeline Pumpkin Todd, Rob Williams, and Mrs. Hayes.
There's another one.
Who was the other one?
Miss Sally.
Miss Sally. Now, for celebrities or well-known people, Pat Carlson, Doris Day, Tim Conway, Nathaniel Taylor, Silver King, Georgia Engel, Carmine Caridi, Herman Woke, I.M. Pei, Ashley Massaro, Grumpy Cat, Peggy Lipton, and John Singleton.
Wow.
Silver King was a wrestler. And Herman Woke was one of my favorite authors who did The Winds of War back in the 80s and War and Remembrance. A very good, excellent read if you ever want to read about World War II. It's a very good depiction of that time. And you want to see the movie sometime, that's also a good thing to see. Now, I want to ask Mike, my co-host here, what his thoughts are on the passing of his four friends or people that he knew personally.
Well, the one thing I'll have to say for Miss Pumpkin, her name was, I believe, Madeline Todd. Now, she was a pillar in the Homestead community. She actually ran the food bank, and there was a lot of people that she fed every other Wednesday. So Miss Pumpkin was definitely a pillar in society, as too was Rob Williams. And the thing with Rob Williams is me and him were so close. Every day I leave work, I find myself pulling my phone out of my pocket with intentions of calling him, and it still hits me that my best friend, I'll never see him again.
Yeah.
You know, so that hits home pretty hard.
Yeah.
And it also teaches me a little bit about how precious our lives are.
Yes.
You know, it's almost sad to say it, but we're not guaranteed to see tomorrow.
You got that right.
And I think that the friends that we have, I think we should let them know that we love them.
And
Oh, yeah.
family.
Because you're not guaranteed tomorrow.
That's
but
true.
like the passing of these four people that I know, these people were all, to me, they were all pillars in society. They were all good people, did a lot for, their community, did a lot for their people. So there's, as far as I'm concerned, there's four more good people in heaven,
Yeah. Al, what's your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for bringing their names out. They should be remembered. I want to thank you also for showing up,
Thank you, Al.
because this is not easy. I've been through that. I was doing a live show not long after I had lost one of my animals. I had a show when I had to talk about my non-biological dad, Al Goldsmith. So I've been through it. And you say they were a pillar of the community. They helped a whole lot of lives out there.
Yes, yes.
But what's interesting? Not only did they help lives, they inspired a lot of people. They're going to be missed.
Yeah, they are.
There's
Al,
no
you're
doubt
right.
about it.
Yes, Al, you're right.
But it also demonstrated something to me. You know what? We think a lot of times that our actions are wasted, that they're insignificant, but trust me, they're very important. But I want to send my condolences to you and to the friends and the family of those people. But it really shows that you're also a strong man,
Thank you, Al.
because it's hard to deal with that.
Yeah, it is.
And you mentioned how you find yourself, trying to call him. Well, my non-biological dad been gone for, 10, 12 years. I still feel
11.
like, 11. I still feel like I'm going to try to call him, you know.
El, I was at this man's house every day after work. Every day after work, I was at Rob's house, El, every day.
Every
How
day,
old was
huh?
he?
He was like 60, I want to say 66.
Is that all?
That's all.
Oh my, what did he die from?
Some said a heart attack, some said he had a pneumonia, walking
Oh.
pneumonia. So.
Well, we really need to think about how important our lives are. You know, you might think, maybe you work at a fast food place and you don't think, they could just get anybody. It's true, they could get just anybody. But your life matters in a different way. And I think that's what we really need to understand. So I wanted to start the episode with kind of a reflection time, a reflective, you know, kind of time for my audience, which they could call in and speak about people they lost or people that inspired them. Now, I do want to bring up something. I did not get to write down, nor did I get to read the complete quote. But Mahatma Gandhi wrote something to the effect of, you may think that your efforts and what you do is insignificant, but actually it's very important. And I mentioned that your friends were very important. So I want to direct this to you out there, and Annette and Mike, and myself. We are not insignificant. 99% of all humanity will not climb and reach that mountain unless we break through this invisible obstacle. But let me tell you something. You may only be a dishwasher your entire life. A job that's very low paying. And you may think that you're just moving through life, floating by or just surviving or really not even surviving. But I'm here to tell you that's not true. That's the lie. Now, there's a lot of people that don't believe in a higher power. A lot of people that don't believe in evil. But there is something. Maybe it's just psychosomatic, but something that blocks the majority of people that ever lived from reaching the levels that they are capable of physically and psychologically. And I'm here to tell you that maybe you will, maybe you won't. But you are not insignificant. And as a direct result of proving that, I have two co-hosts. I have Annette Mendel, and I have Mike McCutcheon. I have Mike McCutcheon, and I have Annette Mendel. Now, you may have noticed, I mentioned them both equally. There is no superiority. Let us remember that we all matter. But with that, let us put upon Mike the duty of answering the first call, because he is going through an emotional trauma. But we must lift him up through a higher power and through our own power. We must lift him up and say, Mike, we know you're hurting, but we still want you to see that even in your pain, there is love, genius, and greatness in you. So with that, we're going to have you do whatever it is we might normally have you do. Okay. So with that, we're going to answer the first call, and then we're going to actually go on a new, or let's just say a different path for the most of the next 20, 30 minutes. But with that, we are going to now pass it to my good friend and family member, Mike McCutcheon.
Thank you, El. Caller, you're on. Hello, caller?
You guys were talking about, death and loss, and I've been really, really upset about a recent loss. I'm very upset about, go ahead, I don't even know. It's so hard to talk about. Very upset that Grumpy Cat died. I used to watch him on the internet a lot. I just don't know what to do. How do I move forward?
Well, dude, like, I agree with you. I so much agree with you. Losing an animal is kind of worse than losing a human being because animals are completely loyal to you. So to mourn over a cat, dude, there's nothing wrong with that. I find that's normal. And like I said, like I lived with a girl who had a cat for 21 years, and this cat died. It was like I lost my mother. That's how I truly felt. So mourning over a lost animal, that's completely understandable, dude. And how do you move on? Just appreciate the next day that you open your eyes and see the sun shining. That's the best thing I can say.
Well, I want to add to that and interject something. How you move on, first of all, is you watch more videos of that cat. But more importantly, if you're very genuine and you really mean what you say, you should know that a cat and an animal can be so essential to the person's well-being.
Yes.
And I would say if you truly like that cat, watch more of the Grumpy Cat videos. I would say comment on the death of the cat. What upset me about it was the fact that it died at 7 years old from a urinary tract infection. And that tells me something, though. It might be that a urinary tract infection could kill a human. I never thought of it that way, but we need to be very, very careful when we get ailments to get medical attention for ourselves or animals. And I will say that the loss of an animal, and being completely candid,
We lost cats.
I don't know. Hold on one second.
We
now.
lost cats, and
we've
it's
lost
hard.
animals.
It's hard, but you do move on.
Well,
But you
It's
remember
so hard. I
them,
don't know
and you
what to
remember
do.
the
Every
good
time I
times
look on
you
the
had with
internet,
them.
I see little pictures of the kitty cat, and I just
Well-
found out his real name was Tartar Sauce.
Well, what we're going to do is, at this point, we are going to move forward. We'll speak a little bit more about the cat, but we do need to move forward at this time. So you all have a good night. And Mike, tell me something. You are practicing your art. And have you painted any recent photographs or portraits?
Anything, I haven't painted anything like within the past, 2 months, I just had I've been experiencing a lot
of pain.
Yeah, L. It's
lot of
really,
pain.
it's hard to adjust to, L, that, every Friday I would go to Rob's house. I would knock on his door and he would answer his door.
And now he's not there,
Friday.
so, yeah.
I'll never hear him saying that Happy Friday again, or, we would sit around. This man did everything for everybody, L. And it truly does hurt,
Well, that's why I'm glad you're here. But I want to address something for a quick second. A lot of people make light of the importance of an animal. I'm just saying that a lot of people do, worldwide. But I don't think that they realize the extent of how close that animal can get to the person. But I will tell you, there have been people that were sick or elderly who've actually lived longer
because of pets.
because of a dog
Yes,
or a cat,
yes, it's a
or
fact.
believe it or not,
It's a fact.
other exotic animals.
It's a fact, L.
And so I would say that it is appropriate to grieve And it is also appropriate to list an animal and a human's death. A lot of people would see that as bizarre.
Yeah.
A lot of people would laugh at it, but they do not realize the gravity of what that cat being on that YouTube actually did. It actually helped a lot of people
Yeah, it brought a lot
have
of
fun.
smiles to many
A lot of
people.
smiles, a lot of laughter. There may have been depressed people that actually watched it. And I wanna interject something else. There is a man named Michael Jamerson. I think that's his pronounced. Jameson. He lives in South Africa. And he has these two tigers, Enzo and Diego. And he makes videos almost every day. And he has over maybe 800,000 subscribers or or 100,000 something. But in the comments on some of these videos, I can tell you that there have been people that have said, I was suicidal and I happened upon some of these videos. So just seeing these tigers and the cats, he has cats, he has monkeys.
That's dogs.
He has dogs. Boy, does he have dogs. But I want to acknowledge that, animals of all types are important. And quite frankly,
a warm kitten or a warm puppy would cheer a person up that was depressed.
you would be
Most of the
surprised.
And it makes children happy.
But it's also scientifically proven that it helps.
Yes.
So I think we need to acknowledge that it is odd to put in an animal.
I don't think so.
Well, it is if you're putting it in amongst the humans.
Do you know Dr. Oz?
But they're important.
Do you know Dr. Oz did a
Yeah.
show all over the benefits of playing with a pet?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Petting a
I wouldn't be
cat, petting a
surprised.
dog does a lot for your emotions.
I wouldn't be surprised. But Mike, guess what?
Okay.
This is a little bit off the subject, but you got to go back to work, buddy.
Okay.
You see what you got to do?
Yep. Okay.
Oh, time out. Before we do that, at some point we may have to move forward a little bit faster.
Okay.
So if that ever happens, you might see me, give you a little signal or something.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But at this point, Mike, I think we should have you do the honors. And then the very next call that we get, if one comes, will be answered by guess who?
Me,
Who's me?
Annette.
Okay, then.
Okay.
Always say your name. Don't forget your name. You were born with a name. Well, you got a name after you were born. Any rate, your
Okay.
turn, Mike.
Caller, you're on. Hello?
It's Diane.
Hi, Diane.
How you doing, Michael?
Good.
So, we lost a cat. I lost a cat named Mickey. He was my
Mickey
favorite
Bodine.
cat.
That's my boy. That was my boy.
And,
As a matter of fact,
my brother calls him that's not his boy.
everybody, I
He
don't
has
know.
Mickey in his pocket.
I don't know if we can get a tight shot, but this is actually a keychain urn,
Keychain with Mickey on it.
and inside here are some of Mickey Bodine's cremains. He passed away in the year 2006, and I didn't know that there were keychain urns.
Cool, yeah.
And so every time I drive, I either have Mickey Bodine on this key ring driving with me, or I have two of my other cats. And I will tell you, I
Lucky
also
Star
have,
and Misty Kisty.
Well, what do you? What?
so it's either Mickey, Misty, or Misty and Lucky.
Now, here's a question for you. Do you miss baby Princess, the one that always wanted the straw or the lollipop?
I miss every single one of the animals I ever had in my life. I even miss animals I didn't have in my life, like neighborhood animals, of course.
Well, how about the very first cat you ever had, Al? How about the
Baby
very
girl.
first cat
Yes,
you
I
ever
miss.
had?
Of course, I miss her. But you need to lower your phone. Your
I can't
TV,
lower
Diane.
TV. It's too hard to do.
Diane, do you know how many people?
It's hard to lower your TV.
Diane, do you know how many other viewers tune in just to hear you get the feedback? They get a kick out of that. I don't. It gives me a headache, but hey, forget about it.
It's okay.
Lower your TV.
Lower your voice. You don't have
I
to
don't
yell.
know a brand new
Let me hear you
TV
say,
like this.
lower
I
your
don't know where
TV.
She can't hear
controls
me.
are at.
Shh,
What?
shh, quiet. Just wait. Just wait. Now say it,
Lower your
I don't-
TV,
please.
please.
Okay, you're good.
I don't know where the controls are at for this new TV I got.
Well, we're not going to argue on live television. Well, at any rate, so what is your other statement? So yes, of course I miss my animals.
Well, what do you think? Did you think Doris Day lost? I mean, did you think Doris Day missed her animals?
Well, of course.
Why wouldn't she miss
I mean,
them?
before she died.
Well,
Well,
of course,
of course.
Diane. People miss their animals.
That of course they're going to miss their animals unless they didn't care about them in the first place.
Well, the one that loves animals. The one that loves animals just as much as you do. Now is Betty White, and she's still living.
Yeah.
I know that. Of course they miss them. They do a lot. A lot of people try to help animals. I just got a.
Animals
Bob
are family
Hold on,
members.
Even Bob Barker, right?
Of course.
Animals are family members,
You're
Diane.
talking too loud.
She can't
Yeah,
hear
Annette,
me.
you're talking too loud. Okay, just calm down. Don't speak
No,
so
she's not.
loud. She speaks too loud because she thinks Diane can't hear her.
Diane can't hear.
All right, well, Diane, is there
All right.
any final thoughts?
You talking about animals or something else?
About animals at this point, Diane, because we're going to be moving on pretty soon.
I don't. I hope with Michael McCutcheon. I hope Michael McCutcheon, his condolence or whatever that word means.
I didn't understand what she said.
Whoever he lost.
So you saying your condolences?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Michael
that's very
McCutcheon.
nice. All right, Diane, well, we're going to move ahead, okay?
Okay. I'll talk to you later on tonight. Bye.
Okay. Well, everybody, that's Diane. She never listens and lowers her TV, but that's okay. Now, just for the technical side of it, for the audience out there, if you actually call into our TV series episodes, or for that matter, any radio show or any TV show worldwide or internet podcast, what have you, you need, if you're listening to it on the radio or you're streaming it, whichever mechanism or platform, you actually have to lower that volume, because what happens is you get what they call feedback. That's why you hear Diane asking the questions over and over again. That's why you hear us not hearing her well, because what happens is there's feedback. For those of you who may not be in the industries, and that applies to podcast, audio, and in terms of visual. It applies to radio, and it applies to television, obviously. So what you got to do is you have to lower whatever you're listening to the episode or the show on. And I can tell you that I had an experience where years and years ago, I called up Larry King, the famous Larry King. And I think I called him on CNN. But in any case, I called him on one of them. And what happens is the producer tells you to lower your radio station or whatever. And yes, there are some things you may not hear, because after you get hung up on, usually you get hung up on like, when they're done with the question or whatever, you might miss a second or two. But as long as you don't lower your TV or your radio or your streaming audio, you get that feedback. So that's why you have difficulty and the host has difficulty. I just want to give you that side note. So for all future listeners that do call in, and I hope you will, you want to make sure that you do have your TV or radio, whatever it may be, in this case TV, turn it down, turn the audio down, just listen through the phone, because you're going to be able to hear it. Trust me, I promise you, if you turn down the TV, Diane, you'll hear what we say. But if you don't, you'll get confused every day. I'm sorry, my fault. You know me with my little rhymes and stuff, right, Mike? But we're going to move on now. Let me see where we're at. Yeah, we're going to move on to a different arena that we're going to talk about because I want to inspire people, hopefully. But before we do, I want to close out this segment, this section. We spoke about the deaths and the impact of Mike and his friends and other people. We spoke about the death of Grumpy Cat and the absolute importance of animals. And even wildlife, people that have exotic animals or sanctuaries, there is a loss. There is a sustained loss. So when people maybe, they make fun of what we're doing or they say, oh, you're crazy or whatever. Trust me, there is an importance of an animal.
Yes.
And I can tell you that this Grumpy Cat
All
was
you have
very
to
well
do
known.
is watch the veterinarian shows, and you'll see how
Exactly.
people react when they lose their pets.
Well, if you, can I just say one thing? Ed?
Go ahead.
If you believe the story of creation,
Yeah.
God created everything.
Right.
Man was the last thing God put on this
That's
planet
true.
because he knew what man was going to do.
Yeah,
it wasn't
that's
the
true.
animals, it
That's
wasn't
true.
the fish, it wasn't
That's
the
true.
birds, it was man.
That's true. Well,
Right,
I can
good
tell
point.
you, I'll tell you, Diane brought up original baby girl. Well, I can tell you that original baby girl was an extraordinary cat. She was a cat that, quite frankly, you would scratch your head thinking you had to be on drugs even though you weren't. I actually witnessed two astounding things that this cat had done. The first cat I ever had. I had a hamster, and they were in their little hamster enclosure. Well, the hamster got out one time, and Diane might not remember this. She was there too because it was at my old house in Shadyside area. And the hamster got out and got loose. And we're talking about a cat now, remember that. So the hamster got loose, and there was a hole in our home floor we didn't know about. We didn't know it was a little small hole that actually could make the animal fall through, the hamster fall through into the basement and get killed. So we're sitting there, all of a sudden, my cat, original baby girl, starts meowing. And meowing like you just don't know what. And she did not normally meow like that. So we're sitting, we're like, what the heck? Just, So finally kind of get irritated, and you're like, So we go over there, and here the hamster had gotten out. So my cat, now keep in mind, it's a cat, ladies and gentlemen, saved the life of the hamster because she was able to sit over the hole. It was small enough. She sat over the hole, blocking the hamster from falling through the hole, watched us save the hamster, and until the hamster was safely in the enclosure, she followed us from the living room and watched us put the hamster into the enclosure, jumped up on the table like, you better do it, and protected that hamster. Okay, so that's astounding. Instead of killing the hamster, she saved the hamster. Okay, but now before we get to the next call, which Annette will be getting, you think, okay, that's amazing. That's like, it should have been on TV. It's amazing. And it's true, it is amazing. But then in 1979, I believe, we had a guy trying to break into my house. And again, this time, original baby girl was in the kitchen. And she's going, rah, 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 meowing like crazy. Sounds like a dog, I know, but she was meowing. And I'm like, will you shut up? I'm trying to watch Chiller Theater with Bill Cardell, Chilly Billy. Sorry, I'm serious, I was. I'm like, shut the, blah, 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 blah. I had an unclean mouth. I apologize, but I did. I was like, ah. Anyway, so she's meowing, and then I said, I'm sorry. So I sneak into the kitchen. Sure enough, because of her meowing, I was able to prevent that guy from getting away with coming in and doing bodily harm. So she was an astounding cat. Now, a lot of people
She was a watch cat.
She was a watch cat. She definitely was. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, I don't believe that. So I'm going to challenge everyone who said, I don't believe that.
He's not going to lie.
No, not that. I challenge each and every person out there who thinks it's a joke or that I'm full of it. Go and look online and see hero cats and hero dogs. There was a cat that some of you may remember a few years ago that stopped a vicious dog or supposedly vicious dog from attacking this child. I think it was in Florida. So yeah, it exists. There are hero cats and there are heroic cats and there are heroic animals. So let us not dismiss and disparage anybody.
Oh, there's a lot of heroic animals that save people
And
from
heroic
fires.
people and heroic people.
Yes, but I'm talking about animals who
Yeah.
save people from fires.
But I think we want to acknowledge the fact that there are some amazing things out there. And one other thing I want to touch on. Today I had a video. I think it's called Creepy something. I don't know. It's some YouTube thing I subscribe to. There was this cat that was in a shelter, and they found this little pit bull puppy. The shelter found this little pit bull puppy. So ironically, this cat had had some kittens that she was raising because she just had kittens. So they actually decided to introduce the pit bull puppy and ask and see if the mother cat would raise the pit bull. And I kid you not, it's actually on video right now. It's on YouTube. She actually took the pit bull and raised him as her own.
Yeah, that's not hard to believe, Al.
No,
It's
but
absolutely
how many
believable.
of us, humanity-wise, wouldn't do that if they're not of our pigmentation, our sexual orientation, if they're not of this? So yeah, I mean, hey, you better believe I'm going to put every animal that I find that passes on, I'm going to put them in my credits. And I will say this, I do know that some people feel like by putting the name of the cat intermixed with the animals, that somehow I'm disregarding and
You
disparaging.
mean the people?
I mean the people, I'm sorry. Somehow I'm disrespecting humanity, but I'm not.
Oh,
Because
that's
God,
not what you're
because
doing.
the higher power created both.
That's right.
So if God created you and he created the animal, bingo,
Let's
touchdown
just say
Steelers.
this, they're deaths, okay? And it just so happened that a cat
Yeah.
passed away.
But I
so-
personally will tell you that I know senior citizens that benefited from having
Oh,
animals.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I just want to touch on that. But more importantly, I
And
want to,
hospitals.
more importantly, before we do get into the next call, I'm just glad you're here.
Thank you,
And
Ron.
I'm glad I put the pressure on you
Yeah, I'm glad.
to do what you normally do, because if you don't do
Mm-hmm.
what you normally do, you're going to have even more depression.
So let me.
And it's a therapeutic thing that we're doing right now.
And you're right, Al. So
You
let
know.
me share something with you guys.
And share with the audience. Don't
Okay.
forget our
I
audience.
have two
We're going to
cats.
get the call in the New York second.
I have two cats. My youngest cat wants no attention whatsoever, no affection. She wants none of that.
Okay.
But do you know the days when my best friends die and I
Right.
come home, I sit on my chair and I start
Right.
crying. Who
Right.
comes and jumps on my lap?
The cat?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Until I'm done crying. Al,
Oh,
do you
yeah.
understand that? So,
Oh, yeah.
So I have a friend who claims animals are stupid. So I hope
Yeah.
let him continue to believe that, because in reality, I hate to say it, he's the one that's actually stupid. God forgive me. for
Yeah,
saying
Well,
that.
Right.
I will just share this with you. If cats and dogs didn't have emotional connections to you, then there's no such thing as water existing on the planet. And I guarantee you there's water. What I'm saying is they do have emotions, because I had a cat that was dying of brain cancer that was concerned about me getting the flu.
And that's vital, Elder, what you said earlier. You were talking about somebody that was a dishwasher.
That's right.
We all have things to do
Exactly.
in life. Or, like, there's a man born to wash dishes. There's a man born to be a doctor. I couldn't go through what a doctor goes
Right.
through, watching people die.
Right.
I couldn't do that, you know.
Yeah,
so,
I couldn't
Well,
either.
guess what, Mike? I want you to do something.
Okay, let Annette get the.
No, I
okay.
want you.
Caller, you're on.
No, time out. No caller, you're not on your time out.
What?
Will you tell her to get the Tell her to get the call.
Okay, and that we're going to turn it over to you. And
Yes, caller.
I had to
you're
do a
on.
redo.
Caller. What?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I would like to talk about my cat.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a very loving cat, a black and white cat, a
All
white
right.
cat with black spots.
All
named
right.
Mikey years ago.
Okay,
He was
what's
a
your...
diabetic.
Okay, and how do you take care of him?
Well, he died eventually,
Oh, wow, that's sad.
but
Well-
he was a very loving cat.
What was his name?
Mikey.
Okay. And what did you want us to tell us about the cat? What do you want to tell us about?
He was very loving.
Okay. Well, I believe that.
Do you want to get another cat?
That lady's calling
And
from a
he was a
hospital.
fighter.
Okay. He was, well, he
Or he
bit
wouldn't have
you?
been alone. He wouldn't have been around as long as he was.
Right. So, how long did you have the cat? About how long did you have the cat? Hello? We're having a hard... Okay, not that long?
About 13 years.
Oh, okay.
That's long.
That's a good amount of time.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
We had cats that lived up to 20 years or over 20 years.
We had...
Yeah, I never had a cat live to be that old.
Well, they said there was one cat, I think it's on the internet, I think they said lived 27 years. And there might have been
that's
one...
amazing.
Yeah, there might have been one that lived even longer than that. Of course, you know, some turtles or tortoises
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
live up to 100
Oh,
years.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And some 200 or 300 years. So there's some animals that are pretty old out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to get another cat?
Not so loud in that. Stop. Time out.
Are you
But,
going to get
I don't have
another?
any cats right now.
Huh?
I'd like to get some more someday.
Well, if you ever do, I suggest you go to a place called Animal Friends. Or have somebody take you. If you live in this area.
No, I don't live in the area anymore.
Okay, well, there are what they call no-kill animal shelters. You want to look for a no-kill animal shelter, and you can adopt a dog or a cat or sometimes a rabbit or whatever they may be having. You can adopt it
Yes,
from
uh-huh.
there. So
I
yeah,
actually live near Philadelphia now.
okay, well, you live near Philadelphia. How is it that you're tuning in here?
Well, because I know Diane Torcaso, I know Albert's sister.
Oh, okay.
Is this Cindy?
Not so loud.
Yes, uh-huh.
Oh, how you doing, Cindy?
How you doing, Cindy?
Fine, how are you? Who is this?
Well, you
I
doing
thought I
good?
recognized your voice.
You're talking too loud. You're talking too loud. Cindy, Annette talks loud. She speaks loudly.
I ain't trying to.
Well, how are you feeling? You've been doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Well, that's good.
So you live in Philadelphia now?
Near there.
All right, Cindy. Well, it's good to hear from you. Maybe you can give Diane a call. And we're going to go ahead and move on because we have another little bit of business to go to. But I appreciate you calling in, Cindy. Was there anything else you wanted to tell us?
No, I just really love cats.
Okay.
They're really God's creatures.
And how is your health? Are you doing well?
Well, yeah, actually, though, I have a little bit of cancer, but it's
Ooh.
hasn't spread.
Ooh. You say it did or did not spread?
It didn't spread.
Oh, wow. I hope it doesn't.
Well,
Well, we'll pray for you. We will pray for you. And tell Diane, call her. I hope you remember her phone number.
Oh, yeah.
And
She's
call
the one
her.
who gave me this number.
Okay. Well, speak to Diane. Give her your last name. Do not say it on the air, though. And then we'll put you on our prayer list.
Okay.
God bless you. And you be careful, okay, young lady?
I what?
I said be careful.
how old is your daughter
I
now?
will be.
Don't do that. That's public.
Okay.
Don't do that. Don't do that. All right, God bless you,
Okay.
Cindy. Good
God
night.
bless you.
Good
Hey.
night.
See ya.
Whew. I really hope that God will have Cindy get healed very soon. And I believe that, there's a good chance of that, especially if we catch things early. But I'm going to drive on a new highway for a
I thought I
minute.
recognized her voice.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I was gonna
Thank you for
say.
calling, Cindy, if you're still watching, and Diane. I want to move on a new highway, though. Guys and gals out there, every 6 months we reapply for our TV series. So there's always a chance that we might be on at a different time or don't know. But I do know this. In some capacity, it's almost a requirement for us to have this series. And when you hear me say that, you're probably thinking, why? It's one of my vehicles I use to let Cindy know we will pray for her. For atheists, I'd pray for an atheist, whether they believe or not. I don't care. I love you. Spiritually, I love you. We love Cindy spiritually. And we love all the people out there, even the people that get on my last nerve so much so that I feel like going to the hospital to get a new set of nerves.
I
But
like
we won't go
Cindy.
there.
I like Cindy, I always did.
But the thing is, this series is needed. It's not needed because it's me. It's not needed because it's Mike or Annette. It's needed because people like all of us, whether we want to admit it or not, we need to know our life is significant. If somebody passes, you will be missed. But I want you to know, we will pray for Cindy. We will pray for my friend Jeff, who may or may not have cancer. We will fight. I can't speak for anybody but me. I will keep fighting. And I don't care if I have to do it as a podcast. I don't care if I have to do it exclusively on a YouTube or whatever. Hopefully we'll be renewed. I believe we will. Lord willing, we will. But what I want to say is this type of programming is needed.
Nice, Albert.
And it's needed because you are needed. You need to know. You mean something. But I want to disagree with my brother Mike for a minute. He said one thing, did it on the basis I would agree with. Some people are born to be a doctor and some people are born to be a dishwasher. Except that I cannot agree to that. No one is born to be a dishwasher. They are all born to be a doctor. But before you get confused and think that I'm attacking Mike, that's not what I mean. We are all born with extreme genius and greatness. But so many of us never reach it, never see it, never even believe it. But I can tell you, the dishwasher,
It's a decision you make through life.
it's not even a decision. It's a series of so many things that is both physical and mental.
Sometimes people follow in their family's footsteps
But
too.
can I say this?
Yeah.
The dishwasher can be the doctor. And the doctor can be the rocket scientist. So can the lawyer. I know what that sounds like. So many of you out there, if you're out there, can be confused. Could be saying, what is he trying to get at? I am not a wordsmith. I am not the best speaking person on earth, but I can tell you that I know who you are. And you have that genius in you. You have that greatness in you. But what you also have in you is a teaching and brainwashing of the world. And it's not your fault. But we can let the excuses keep us from getting to where we need to be or where we can be, or we can take action. So I would like to inspire all of you out there, if possible, to start to believe again. I know that there's 1.5 trillion reasons to not believe. What if you're working at a big box store, or maybe you're working in a fast food place, you're 17 years old and you don't think you have value? Well, I'm telling you, you can learn. You are capable. And the human mind is capable of getting smarter and smarter and doing astounding things. But let me go to another avenue. There are so many people who think they're limited because of their physical disabilities, but you're not. There are people with physical disabilities right now
Who are driving.
And believe it or not, there are people without legs
Doing incredible things.
that are doing things that are astounding. There are doctors.
Incredible.
There are motivational speakers. So I want to encourage you to rise above your depression, rise above your fear, rise above your family, and rise above your friends, rise above your coworkers, rise above your teachers. Because let me tell you, here's a dirty secret. When you start on that journey, hundreds of people, possibly in your lifetime, will try to stop you, if not thousands. They're going to try to stop you. Now, it's not that they're evil necessarily, but they are just as brainwashed and all that stuff. Or they're going to say, you can't. So as you start down this path, you start reprogramming your mind. And to the people who are extremely mentally challenged or maybe paranoid, you can reprogram your brain safely and it will not hurt you. Do not fear this. The type of reprogramming I'm talking about, instead of thinking negative, think positive. Instead of saying, I can't, say, I will. And let me tell you something. You will see a transformation. Now, I didn't say it's going to take tomorrow. It's not going to be tomorrow. It might be 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. But I know that you can get there. And I'm going to share something with you that may be kind of astounding. I have a mentor that is involved in a business that I'm in. And I won't mention the business, so don't worry about all that. That's not what this is about. But he is involved in a business that I'm involved with, where you don't have to recruit anybody, all that jazz. But he received 90 notifications that he was going to benefit financially, 90 different times. And it got me to thinking, which was, here is this man who's going to be blessed immensely, but I'm equally in the same company, and yet I have not done anything. And I know the reason. It is self-doubt and fear. So I want you to know that when we go on this journey, it's not just you. I'm not asking you to do anything I don't need to do. But I can tell you, there's so much lies out there with these businesses. You get it on YouTube every day. But at the same time, my friends, there truly is ways for you to change your financial situation, your physical situation, your mental situation, your medical. They really, truly exist. So I want to say to you that there are thousands, if not millions of scams out there telling you you can make money in this, you can make money in that. And there are a lot of multi-level marketing companies that are legitimate, and you will earn income if you take the steps. But there are a lot of scammers out there. So be very vigilant. But do not put a wall up that says, I will never trust an MLM. I will never trust this legitimate business. I will never try to start my own hot dog stand. Don't put that wall up. And of course, you might say, well, where am I going to get the money? Ladies and gentlemen, there's a man named Matthew Lesko that has an organization, and he has been helping people find ways to get free money, also sometimes known as grants. Not only known as grants, he's been doing this for over 40 years. And the simple fact is that in America alone, our government under the Trump administration has increased the amount of money that is given to organizations and American citizens, yes, has increased it to, I believe, almost $2 trillion a year. So friends, in summation, you probably wonder where I'm going with this. The possibility for you to start a business, the possibility for you to get help on an untold number of things, it's there. It will cost you, in some cases, some money to learn the information. But there are also ways to learn it for free. So the roadblock, the obstacle, for example, let's say you wanted to start a tanning salon. Well, let's say something a little bit more not seasonal, all right? Let's say you want to start a barber shop, but you never had the education, you don't know where you're going to get the money, all that stuff. There are ways to do all of it, but what you must do first is change your mindset. And I'm telling you, it's possible. Now, I brought up my friend with this organization, and I brought it up for a specific purpose, and it's not the one you may think. This is essentially an online-based business. And I bring that up because as it being online-based, there are a few things that can set you free. You can utilize the internet to do the majority of your work, to contact the people, to find the people interested in the product. But then you can also utilize the automation that our world is using today. You can use the automation. You might set up automated emails. You may set up social media. But then you can also, once you learn the fundamentals, we're almost there, learn the fundamentals, you can then use your own wireless phone, download some kind of applications, and utilize that wireless phone to help you get more customers and, in fact, earn income. Now, tying all this in, what I'm saying to you is whether you choose to be a barber, whether you choose to be a doctor, whether you choose to be an online entrepreneur, every single thing you can think of, you can achieve it. But it comes down to words that I've heard people say and words that I have said. In order to achieve it, my friends, you must believe it. And you have to learn to reprogram your brain so that you can believe it even before you achieved it. And you can accomplish this. I believe in you. And I will remain a person who tries to bring people up even in the face of enemies. To bring people up when others would bring you down. To not laugh at you when others would say you're insane. Because you're important. We have one quick call. It will have to be very quick. We only have 2 minutes. So one quick comment, and then we'll have to move on. Caller, would you like to give us a quick comment?
Hi, Al. I called you a few weeks, I guess maybe 2 months ago.
Okay.
I guess you weren't on last month. I'm sorry, I missed the episode. I forgot.
No, we weren't on last month. We couldn't make it here. Our vehicle was down.
Oh, okay. I wanted to. I don't know if you remember me. I was talking about maybe trying to do the lighter topic.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I didn't know if you.
We're working on that.
To think about that and whether that's a possibility and whether you're gonna maybe try and do that.
We are still trying to do that, but we wanted to have. We have to have a little bit of both. More of a combo show.
Okay.
But we did definitely. We are in the process of doing that, actually. It's just a matter of getting the people.
The guy with the dummy guy, the ventriloquist, is he going to be on shortly? I really enjoy when he's there.
Well, at this point, I'm not sure yet because of he has medical issues, but he probably will be. But we're going to go ahead and move forward because we actually have to close down. We do have to close down. I apologize for that. Let me answer your question since there was some feedback. Yes, Jim is in the process of he has some medical challenges. But he might be back here in the next couple of months. We'll have to see. We're going to be working on some other programming. And hopefully it's going to be possibly groundbreaking. We're working on some groundbreaking stuff. I can't reveal everything. But one quick thing I want to tell you is over the past couple of weeks ago, I actually helped to save the life of a raccoon. So
I forgot.
that's okay. But we'll try to tell you that next month. Lord willing, we'll be here. In the meantime, I want to thank Annette. I thank Mike and Annette, and thank all of you. We love you. Remember that you are capable. Do not quit. Get out there and be amazing, because guess what? You are amazing. So to the amazing people, including my last caller, we love you. We need you. And you need us, because we got to love each other. Remember that you and humanity and all forms of life really
does
matter.
Good night, everybody.